Alright, so I'm filming this video while I'm sitting on the floor of my apartment, my student apartment, and I thought it was a very suitable position for this video because today I'm going to talk about all the jobs that I've had as a student in tech. So this video is for you if you're thinking about studying tech, or you're transitioning to a tech-related field, or maybe you're just curious about what other people do next to their studies. I loved working while studying. First of all, because I got a lot of experience while studying. I had 9 different jobs, which we're going to cover in a second. And also, obviously, finding a way to finance myself, feeling independent, earning my own money, and also meeting a ton of great people, to be honest. And a great thing about working in tech is that you can really get a job even with only a few months of experience, because a lot of companies offer these sort of like assistant positions or a bit lower level positions where you can already get experience and you can already contribute to the company without needing like years and years of experience. And some of the jobs that I've had will be pretty easy to get into, and I'm going to share how I got them and the skills you might need to get a similar job. So before we really get into the jobs that I've had, I want to quickly talk about the German job market, because I work in Germany currently and it might be a little bit different depending on where you are, which country you live in. So in Germany, there are really 3 options to finance yourself while you are studying. So you can work as a freelancer on a self-employed basis, and you can be a working student. So this means that you're employed by a company, but you can only work a maximum of 20 hours per week, but the company will be employing you and paying you regular money. And the other option is that you can get funded by the government, or get paid by the government, or obviously get money from your parents. So I will be talking about options 1 and 2. I've done both freelancing and I've been employed by a company, and there are pros and cons for each, and I will cover those later on. Okay, let's dive into the jobs that I've had. So I mentioned this, I had 9 different jobs throughout my 3.5 years of studying, and this might sound like quite a lot, but some of them were internships and some of them were only like 3-month trainings. But I really love getting a ton of different experiences. I love change. This is why I had so many jobs. Of course, this is not for everyone. Maybe you just want to stick to like 1 or 2 jobs, which might also be less stressful, to be honest. So job number 1, this was my first job that I got when I started my studies in Germany, and it was as a business development working student. So to be honest, when I got the job, I actually didn't know what business development was, and even when I started the job, I didn't know either. So I don't know how I got hired. I guess I must have convinced them somehow, but this job only lasted for 6 weeks. I did not like it at all, and it was also demanding a lot of my time, like 20 hours a week, and I really just wanted to soak in my university because I started both at the same time, like the job and my university, and that's something, the first thing I would definitely not recommend. If you can, try and just work, experience university life for a few months before you start working. But of course, if you have to, like in my case, then find a job that you love, because otherwise you're not going to have a great time. So business development is basically something like sales. So I was working at an agency and I was helping the main kind of business development person to prepare presentations, like slideshow presentations, and pitch decks to get the agency more clients. And it's just not my thing. I noticed that after only like 2 weeks, and also I guess my manager, or the person I was working with, was not really great at guiding me. He just kind of gave me a bunch of things, or not even like a bunch of things. He just said like, oh, you can work on this pitch deck presentation, and I was kind of left to do that, and I had all the time in the world. I didn't even have a deadline, and it was just not my job. But this job could be for you if you really enjoy sales and thinking about how a company could be earning more clients. It also could be for you if you enjoy putting together presentations. And also, not all business development jobs are the same. There are companies where you might be doing different things. This was the first job. I applied for it online, actually. I saw it advertised on a job platform. I just applied for it and went through the application process. It was like 2 interviews, and it was pretty easy to get. So this, I would say, is a quite low level barrier entry job, if you could call it that. And I think it's accessible to anyone who's just good at communicating with other people and is pretty good at writing things and enjoys sales. Second job that I had was a working student position in marketing at my university. So this job was the complete opposite. I loved it. I loved it so much. So since I had a marketing background, I thought, okay, if I don't like this previous job, I might as well look for something that I do love and I'm good at, and this is something I can do to ease into my studies. And yeah, at this time my university actually presented a position for a marketing working student for about 12 hours per week. And this was perfect for me because I could work at my university campus, I could really enjoy the life, I could get to know people, and I could also do something that I knew because I had previous freelance marketing experience. Part of this job was me managing the university's Instagram account, so making regular posts on there, thinking about captions to write, thinking about what could be interesting content for people who follow us. Then I also set up Facebook ads and Instagram ads to get more people to our website. I also helped out at events, things like that. So it was a super creative job. I loved it, and I feel like you could also do something like that, similar. Like, I totally recommend working at your university, especially in your first year, because yeah, you really get to know people, and it's also pretty easy to get into. They don't expect like a lot, you know, they know that you're studying at the same time, but it's also great for learning. The only downside for this job is that it wasn't super high paid, and I was only working 12 hours per week, which meant that I was living on quite the budget, but I still loved the job, so it was worth it either way. So job number 3 was an internship. Over the summer, after I had done my previous job for about 8 months, I decided that I wanted to now move into product management because I studied product management, and I thought, okay, I finally want to get some experience in the field. And so through a friend, I found out about an open position for a product manager at a startup, and I got an introduction to actually someone who was studying with me at my university, and then I had a conversation with the CEO of the company and another person, and yeah, got the job after about 2 conversations. And it was really good. It was a full-on intense startup experience. If you've ever worked for a startup, you probably know that the hours can be crazy. In this company it was like 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m. every day, which I actually didn't know in the beginning, and that's why it was a bit of a shock. I had the whole summer to really experience this, and it was intense. I got to work closely with the CEO of the company. I got to do a lot of like user interviews, so the people who are using the app of the company, I got to interview and talk to in person, and to really then identify needs that were not met yet in our app, and then talk about it with the CEO and the engineers. And I also then got to do some testing, report bugs, and you know, I got to design some things. I got to have input on the next features that we were building. So there was one other person in the company who was also doing a product management internship, and they didn't have any prior product management experience. So I feel like as an internship, you don't necessarily need a ton of experience. That's what internships are for, to get the experience. And so yeah, just look around at some companies that you really love, and maybe they have a position open. And even if they don't have a position, just apply anyway and ask them, like, tell them what you're good at and how you might be able to contribute to the company, and they might provide you with an internship. Okay, also the downside for this job, again, it was not well paid. It was pretty bad pay, actually. I've never earned this little amount of money for the hours I was working. So make sure that if you do look for an internship and money is sort of important for you, that you find one that pays you well. And there are plenty of internships that do, but a lot of them, they just really pay you the minimum amount that they can. And some, like say an internship is required by your university, some don't even pay you anything. So just watch out for that. Job number 4 was a training, and it was by a company that was like funded by the government, and they had a bunch of partners that they were working with, and it was like a 3-month product management training. And it was through my university. I had to write like a whole application letter to be accepted to this program, and then I got paid a monthly amount to be like basically training there and working with partners. So our partner was BMW, and we worked together with BMW to create a digital product for them. And I worked in a team of like 5 people, and there were some engineers, there was interaction designer, and there was me, the product manager. And we basically got like, we did a ton of workshops, we got a lot of like tasks that we had to do, and yeah, at the same time we were building this digital product for BMW. It was a really cool learning experience. I had so much fun. The people were amazing. And yeah, I just loved it. It was not a lot of money, but it was enough to sustain myself, to pay for my accommodation, to pay for my food and everything. But yeah, it was a learning experience. So I was getting paid to learn basically. And I really recommend this. If you can find a program like this, I will link the one that I went to below. So if you live around like Germany or Europe, this could be for you. But I also know of some people that actually traveled to Germany from India to take part in this program, or even from, I think, the US as well. So yeah, I will leave the links to the program below. Okay, job number 5. This job was completely different. I was doing workshops for kids as a freelancer, training kids with programming skills, Minecraft, building robots, things like that. So it was for kids who were like between, I think, 6 and 12. And basically it's a company and they run these workshops. Sometimes it goes through schools, sometimes it goes privately. And I was basically a workshop host, or in the beginning I was an assistant, and then later on I also got to take over some parts of the workshops. This job I started in about 2 years ago, pre-COVID, a month before COVID started. So I was doing it for a month and a bit, and then it had to be paused because COVID hit and the workshops were all in person, and I didn't have enough experience yet to actually do them online, like the online courses that they were running. So yeah, it was a very short job, but it was interesting. I did learn a lot about myself, especially that I don't particularly enjoy teaching kids. I love working and teaching other people who are around my age or older, but I don't like teaching kids. It's very stressful, it's very full on, and you need a certain set of skills for that, and also a lot of patience, which I realized I don't always have. So it was a good job, and I think it could be something for you. And a similar version of that could be like tutoring kids. If you have some sort of skill that you're really good at, you could do that as well while you're studying. But yeah, you really have to enjoy working with younger kids, because otherwise you're going to not have a great time. So job number 6 was also on a freelance basis. This was also around a month before COVID hit, and I kept that job throughout the first year of COVID, and it was as a content writer for a sustainability platform. I loved this job because I wanted something flexible next to university, because in that year university was very, very stressful, and I didn't want like a high demanding job where I couldn't have my own flexible working hours. So that's why I decided to take this content writing position. And I'd always wanted to get paid to write because I've always loved writing, and also I'm really into sustainability, and so this was like the perfect job for me. Again, so this job was, yeah, it was very flexible. I basically had to submit like a writing sample, and I also then had a chat with like one of the founders of the company because it was a startup. And then they hired me, and they initially just got me to write some articles. So I had to write 1 article for their platform a week. It was super open. I could write whatever I basically wanted to, as long as it was aligned with their like mission and their topics. And then I could just come up with everything myself, and I had a really flexible timeline in which I could write the article. And later on, I upped my hours a little bit, and I also started to manage some of their social media accounts, so Instagram and LinkedIn, for example, and I wrote like a lot of captions and found some photos, etc. I really enjoyed it. There were times when I got really I got writer's block, and I hated writing particular articles, but overall I really enjoyed the job. It was very flexible, but again, this job was not very well paid. It was like a freelance basis. I think I was earning like 15 euros an hour, which for a freelancer is not very high. Yeah, again, now I would go a lot higher, but I guess if you're also not so experienced, it can be fine to start with a lower rate. Just make sure that you're not getting underpaid. After about 8 or 9 months, I decided to switch jobs not because I didn't like this job, but because I found another position as a product management working student again. And because I was studying product management, I really wanted to get more product management experience. And so when this opportunity came about, I decided to take it. So someone actually approached me on LinkedIn and saying that they were looking for a product management working student in their department. And I also was excited by it because it was something completely different. It was like a huge company. Before, I just worked with startups and smaller companies. And so, yeah, I took the opportunity. And this was a good job. I was basically assisting the main product manager, helping to write requirements for the engineers. I helped to facilitate certain meetings, retrospectives, things like that. I also gained insights into the whole, like all parts of the product development process. And yeah, it was full on. It was actually quite stressful. I got stressed quite a lot because I always had to be like there. I always had to be available and like answer questions by the users of the product. And if I didn't reply within 24 hours, it was like not good. And so, yeah, I always had to be on. Resulting from that, I got really stressed. And also my semester at uni was quite stressful that time as well. So I think I got a bit of a burnout and I got really sick at the end of that semester. So yeah, that was also an interesting lesson. And I also didn't agree with some parts of how my manager was working with me. And so I actually decided to leave that job after 6 months. Nevertheless, I still learned a lot from it and I'm still grateful I did it. Again, I feel like I say this after every job I've had. The pay wasn't great. It was actually really low. It was like 12 euros an hour for what I was doing. I thought it was quite low pay. So it sounds like all of my jobs have been pretty well low pay so far. But anyway, we're learning from this and we're getting there. Okay, so we're nearly done. 2 more jobs to go. So job number 8 was me being a freelance marketer again. So after this whole like burnout experience and me being really sick, I wanted something a bit more low key again. And I then found, actually this was a connection through my dad. He knew someone who needed marketing support and she was like a coach, a leadership coach. And she was creating like an online presence and an online program, and I was helping her with it. And because I had previous experience in marketing, I thought, wow, this is fun. I can do this on the side. It's super flexible while I finish my last semester of uni. It was really, really fun. It was really flexible. And I finally upped my freelance pay per hour. So I was getting paid a little bit more. And yeah, it was just really fun. I was learning a lot from her. She learned a lot from me. And then after a couple of months in summer, like she didn't have so much work and she was also like on summer break. And so I decided to look for something else again. And this is where we come to my 9th job. So this was me as a product owner, freelance product owner. And this is the job that I currently still do. I've been doing it since August of last year, so 2021. And I am basically managing the engineering team, a remote engineering team. I am in charge of the backlog, so basically all of the features, upcoming features that we're developing, and I am making sure that all of the all of the questions are answered that our engineers have. I also align a lot with other parts of the company, so like partnerships, communication teams, etc. And yeah, I work with the main product manager also to make certain decisions, feature decisions, give design feedback, write tickets, etc. So it's a very great all-around role, and I'm really enjoying it. And so yeah, this is my current role. And for this role, I'm also getting paid the most, which is really great. I finally upped my freelance. Like I always made sure that it was going higher, and now I'm finally at a point where I think I'm pretty happy with the amount I'm getting paid. Obviously I could still be getting paid more, but I think it's going to come with experience, and I will just, for every job that I have, I will hopefully up my salary. So someone at uni shared this position, and then I applied online, or like I got connected actually with someone from the company, and then I had 2 interviews, and yeah, after that they hired me. And yeah, product ownership, I feel like for this role, if you do something similar, you do need a couple of years of experience. So I only got this job because I already had that kind of previous product experience, and I'd been studying product management. That's why I knew like how to work with engineers, etc. And so yeah, this is not a position you can get like right in the beginning, but also it's not like a high senior position. So you can, after a couple of years of really focused training, you can get a similar job like this. So these are all the jobs I've had. I hope this gave you some inspiration on what you can do if you're just starting out or if you're studying. If you have any questions about any of the jobs, I know I didn't go into detail into all of them, but otherwise the video would be like 9 hours long. So if you have any questions about any of the jobs that I mentioned, please let me know in the comments, and I'd love to do a more detailed video on one of them. So say like the marketing was super interesting, and let me know. I can make a separate video on that. And yeah, I hope you have a great time finding a job. I hope you find a great job that you love. And if you take one thing from this video, please make sure that you are also respected by your employer or the people that you're working with. Make sure that you don't undersell yourself. Make sure that you don't work for free, because you deserve to get paid for the work you do. So even as a student. So just keep that in mind, because this is something that I learned over the past few years. And yeah, other than that, I wish you a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.